The grind, we cross the line. You know the time. It's time to shine. Check it. You must be out your mind. Even your third eye is blind sometime. You seen the sign, still cross the line. This life will throw curves and sliders. In times of trouble, we struggle, but the beast inside you must come out, or it's famine. System set up to damage you. Unless you work around the scandalous and mismanagement, I ran with it. I became more than I was supposed to, but wouldn't listen to the voices of oppressors who try to keep a brother down. Nah, I ain't having that. I'm after that cabbage black. I felt more than I succeeded at. Life lessons had a brother stressing. Nearly died at my adolescence, but I kept stepping and I kept repping black unity. Never forgot where I came from. I'm on some generational wealth. It takes one to change one. So I'm here to give you game if you game, son. Cause it's game on. It's the same song. If you ain't grinding, you won't last long. You know the story, man. I can't find a job, it's because the man. I never let another man hold me. My pops told me, son, be the best at anything you do, protect that. Your family first, your project, I keep you out the projects. My pop's logic, but I hear him though. Now my kids got the blueprint to prove it. Maneuvering around the bullshit. That could be you too, we do this. Just believe in yourself, till wealth comes, no Gucci belt. Let's invest in self, let's digest hate, turn it to power. No protesting, that was last year. We ain't asking, fuck your stimulus, fuck your vaccine. I'm a black king, not only for blacks though. This is for those that feel left behind, can't find steps to climb. Let me testify, we got fish to fry, we don't wish to die, man. Turn the anger to love. Stop begging these fools, just take it and run. On, son, we had a dream, then we woke up. We focused, take notice. We own it, till we own it. Yeah, that's right. Stand up, let's ride.
What's up, what's up, what's up? How y'all doing tonight? I missed y'all. You missed me? Probably not, but that's okay. I missed y'all. As you all know, it's National Women's Month. It still is. And here at the Wake Your Ass Up show, we want to celebrate this month by saying, ladies, mothers, queens, daughters, and grandmothers, we salute you. This is your month. But I'm still going to tell these jokes. So y'all ready? Here we go. A crowded city bus at a busy bus stop. A beautiful woman wearing a tight leather skirt was waiting for the bus. As the bus stopped and it was her turn to get on, she became aware that her skirt was too tight to allow her leg to come up to the height of the first step of the bus. Slightly embarrassed and with a quick smile to the bus driver, she reached behind her to unzip her skirt a little bit, thinking that this would give her enough slack to raise her leg. She tried again to take the step, only to discover that she couldn't. So a little more embarrassed, she once again reached behind her to unzip her skirt a little bit more. And for the second time attempted to step. Once again, much to her embarrassment, she could not raise her leg. With a little smile to the driver, she again reached behind herself to unzip a little bit more, and again was unable to take the step. About this time, a large guy who was standing behind her picked her up easily by the waist, placed her gently on the step of the bus. She went ballistic and turned to the would-be Samaritan and screamed, "How dare you touch my body? I don't even know who you are." The guy smiled and said, "Well, ma'am, normally I would agree with you, but after you unzipped my fly 3 times, I kind of figured we was friends." Look at her. All right, we got more. Chill out. All right, this is a good one. A woman goes to her boyfriend's parents' house for dinner. This is to be her first time meeting the family, and she's very nervous. They all sit down and begin eating a fine meal. The woman is beginning to feel a little discomfort thanks to her nervousness in broccoli casserole. The gas pains are almost making her eyes water. Left with no other choice, she decides to relieve herself a little bit and lets out a dainty fart. It wasn't loud, but everyone at the table heard a poof. Before she even had a chance to be embarrassed, her boyfriend's father looked over at the dog that had been snoozing by the woman's foot and said in a rather stern voice, "Skippy." The woman thought, shit, this is great. And a big smile came across her face. A couple of minutes later, she was beginning to feel that pain again. This time, she didn't even hesitate. She let a much louder and longer fart rip. The father again looked at the dog and yelled, "Damn it, Skippy." Once again, the woman smiled and thought, yes. A few minutes later, the woman had to let another one rip. This time, she didn't even think about it. She ripped a fart that rivaled a train whistle blowing. Once again, the father looked at the dog with disgust and yelled, "Damn it, Skippy, get away from her before she shits on you." Oh, God. That one I like. That was a good one. You like that one, Pop? All right, here's another. All right. A woman's husband had been slipping in and out of a coma for several months, yet she stayed by his side every single day. One day when he came to, he motioned for her to come near. As she sat by him, he whispered, eyes full of tears, "You know what? You've been with me all through the bad times. When I got fired, you were there to support me. When my business failed, you were right there. When I got shot, you were right by my side. When we lost the house, you stayed right there. When my health started failing, you were still by my side. You know what?" "What, dear?" she said gently, smiling as her heart began to fill with warmth. "I think your ass is bad luck, bitch." Oh, God, I killed myself. "I have been waiting all week to tell you to wake your ass up." What's up, man? I'm your boy Love. April 1st, here it is. Free game, LA Love is coming out, the EP. LA Love, free game. Please check it out. It's going to be out on April 1st. We're talking about the blueprint. We're talking about things that we discuss on the show, but it's done in a way that's entertaining musically and sonically. I'm just giving you some free game for those that are interested. So make sure you check it out. There's the cover. All right, you got that? You like my buttons? All right, y'all. Today in history, tightrope walker falls to his death, March 22nd, 1978. 73-year-old Karl Wallenda, the German-American tightrope walker with the great Wallendas, falls over 100 feet to his death during a performance in Puerto Rico. That sucks. Y'all remember back, well, y'all probably don't. I'm just old as shit. Pops do. You remember with me. They used to do shit back in the 70s, like Evel Knievel and shit. He'd jump over the Grand Canyon. And these people didn't use nets, and they would walk, and this dude obviously fell and shit. But they used to do that stuff all the time. They used to put it on television. All right, anyway, next up. First Indian massacre of North America, March 22nd, 1622. 347 Virginian colonists were killed. The Powhatan Confederacy attacked Jamestown and outlying settlements over concerns of forced integration and expanding land use by the colonists. Now, I'm not saying they deserved it because I don't believe in death and all that shit and killing people. I don't think it's right. I think the only people that should die really for their crimes is pedophiles and rapists. Fuck them, you can kill them. But this shit is kind of funny. You know, you gonna go over here to these people's shit and then they land and try to kick them off and shit. And those Indians wasn't fucking around, you know. So they took out 347 of them. And, you know, it's a sad thing because you don't want to see people dying and shit. But you shouldn't have been over there fucking with them people to begin with. All right, next up. James T. Kirk. How many of y'all remember him? James T. Kirk. Born, listen, March 22nd, 2233. He's a fictional character captain of the USS Enterprise, NCC-1701. And that was on from 2264 to 2269 on the TV series Star Trek. I don't know if you guys remember Star Trek. Now, they've had a whole lot of them after the original, but the original was the shit. And then you had this dude down in the steam room. His name was Scotty and shit, and he had a Scottish accent. And all the time, every show, when they trying to get away from people and shit, and he's down there, Captain, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. Remember that shit, Pops? Yeah, old James Kirk. Now, who played him? William Shatner, born March 22nd, 1931. Canadian Emmy and Golden Globe winning actor. His character was Captain James Kirk. He also played in movie shows like, T.J. Hooker, 911, Boston Legal, the spokesperson of Priceline. And in 1968, he released the album, The Transform Man, featuring instant bad classics, Mr. Tambourine Man and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Old William Shatner. I've never heard the album. I heard it was horrible. But anyway, that is it for Today in History. And Today in History is brought to you by New Escherena Lingerie. Check it out. Listen, I know this shit's corny, but the point behind this thing is the New Escherena little commercial. It's gonna get better and better. But sponsoring your own shit on your own shit is ownership, and that's what we preach on this show. Why have another commercial on? We can have your own fucking commercial on, and that's what it's all about. So anyway, New Escherena is coming soon. The website's gonna be dope, and I hope you buy something for your ladies, or ladies, I hope you buy something for yourself, because self-care is the new vibe. Tonight's show, we're going to be talking about why it is impossible to motivate someone. Now, that sounds kind of crazy because on the internet, all you see is motivational speakers, right? People ask me all the time, well, you should be a motivational speaker. I can't be a motivational speaker. It's impossible because I can't motivate anybody. I might be able to inspire somebody to do some shit, but you can never motivate anyone, can you? It's simply a myth because you can't motivate people. It's impossible. Now, we need to stop pretending that we can when it comes to motivation. People either have it or they don't. And we're going to talk about that a little bit because you have borderline lazy, but there's also habits. See, habits sometimes, when you create bad habits on shit, it can really lead you down the wrong lane. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because you could be a motivated person, but you done formed some fucked up habits that's made you unmotivated, or makes you procrastinate, or makes you lazy. So that's kind of some of the things we want to talk about tonight. Now, the only thing that I can ever do is inspire motivated people. Now, I learned this a long time ago. I get inspired by a lot of things, but I have never been motivated by someone or something else. I may be reminded, which in turn triggers my motivation, but that's it. Does that make sense? You can only inspire. Now, as an employer, I've given many speeches to my staff in my time. I like to get them to engage into what I'm saying. When it's a really good speech, I can see it in their eyes, but again, it's not motivation. What I'm doing is connecting to something inside of them that reminds them to do their best. That's one of the definitions of leadership. See, sometimes you just have to connect with a person, resonate with a person that reminds them to do their best. My approach when I have meetings is not to tell them what I need them to do, as I try to connect with them on what they need to do. I do a lot of one-on-ones with my staff. And when I say what they need to do is what they feel they need to do, not what I think they should do. I have a lot of one-on-ones with my staff. And because I think it's important that you have some sort of personal relationship or understanding in that person, what they want in life, what's their goals, Because once I understand that, then now I take that on as one of my responsibilities on trying to get them to achieve that or help them to achieve that. So I don't have a lot of negative issues with my staff, and one of the reasons why is because we have those personal one-on-one relationships. I don't have to tell them what to do. They know what they need to do. I very rarely have to punish someone. Our retention is great. We've had some of the same employees there for 10, 12 years. And I like to say that it's because I haven't motivated anyone. I just inspire them on something that's already in them. Now, you also got to hire the right people. See, sometimes you can hire the wrong fucking people. They won't be there that long. But if you hire the right people, they're going to stick around and they're going to do a great job for you, and you're going to be happy you got them. Now, this is why I am not a motivational speaker. I don't know half these motivational speakers. I don't follow none of that shit. You'll never see me spend $100 to go to one of these seminars. You'll never see me buy one of the books. I've gotten a couple of books as a gift, but I'm not really into that shit because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in charging somebody money to inspire them. I think it's free. I'm not knocking anyone's hustle. It's just not my thing. Now, I will cut you off really quick, though, if I don't feel that you have it in you. And not cut you off like I don't want to deal with you, but you got to understand, someone that's not a motivated person, their energy can drain the shit out of you. It can drain you. And if you try and you motivated and inspired about life and shit, you don't have time really to hang around a whole lot of unmotivated people because it can bring you down. Now, let's ask this question. Why are you not motivated? Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Here's some reasons. Here are some common reasons for lack of motivation. Avoidance of discomfort. People don't like to be uncomfortable. Whether you don't want to feel bored when doing a mundane task, or you are trying to avoid feelings of frustration by dodging a tough challenge, sometimes the lack of motivation stems from a desire to avoid uncomfortable feelings. Now, does that remind you of yourself? It's okay. This ain't one of those kind of shows where we're going to point fingers. But if you find yourself not wanting to be motivated to do shit because you don't want to be uncomfortable, that's something that you have to check. You got to check that, because at the end of the day, you're never going to get where you want to go if you're afraid of challenge or if you're afraid to be uncomfortable. So remember that. Now, get off your butt. 8 ways to become motivated. All right, let's see. Here's one. Whenever I've been in a slump, I've discovered that it's often because I have too much going on in my life. Sometimes you can have so much shit going on in your life without any structure or any organization where you become unmotivated to do any of that shit. Is this any of y'all? I know I get to that point sometimes. And I had to bring in some help just to help me structure my own life so I can make sure that, I have structure so I can stay passionate about what I'm doing. You have to be able to find inspiration. We always talk about your circle and how important it is, the people around you, how important that is. You have to be able to be inspired by things in your life, by people in your life, right? If you're hanging around a bunch of people that's not motivated, you're never going to be inspired by them. See, because tonight's show, we're talking about why you're not motivated, but we're also going to talk about the root causes and how you can be motivated, because everyone has it in them. I know they say if you either have it or you don't. You might not have it. That's because you lost the shit. You can get it back. So you got to check your circle, and you have to get out there and do things that are inspiring to you. And sometimes you might not know what it is, so you got to be active in your life. You have to learn how to get excited again about shit. Sometimes we just fucking tired. We tired, exhausted. You know what? You got to figure that shit out, man, because you're going to sit there and be tired your whole fucking life, and before you know it, it's over. So you're going to have to figure that out. You got to learn how to build some anticipation on stuff. There's nothing wrong with planning out a weekend, even if you're by yourself. Go out and do something. Go out and meet people. Go out and see things that are inspiring. Me, I'm an artist. I'm an artist in the sense of music. I think with the fashion design, because I don't consider myself a designer yet, even though I've got some pieces. but I think that's art. You know, those kind of things inspire me. Right now, I'm reading a bunch of, doing the Audible books on a bunch of stories about top designers, and it's fucking inspiring to me. And I read the book, and I go in there and I start drawing. So you got to figure out what you like first, and then do some shit that's going to inspire you. Post your goals. A lot of people have vision boards. I think that's important. Write that shit down. Write it down what you want to do with your life. Write down your goals. Write down this shit. Have a plan of action. Once you talk about shit and you have a plan of action, then that's going to help, inspire you to become motivated to do this shit, If you're just sitting around thinking about shit, that shit ain't going to never happen. Might as well stop thinking about it. Think about it daily. See, what we're doing right now with the think about it daily is you're starting to reform habits. Because really, you're just not motivated because you got fucked up habits. That's all it is. People that procrastinate, people that are lazy, people that are unmotivated, you just have horrible habits because you've been doing the same stupid shit for so long. That's who you have become. So you got to change that. And also get support. Be around people that truly support you. If they don't support you, that's okay. Everybody don't have to buy your t-shirts that you're selling or your mixtape and no shit like that. But people that are genuinely care and support you. Doesn't matter about what you're doing, but they support you in general. When you have those kind of people around you, it's going to help push you. It might help inspire you, and that will trigger the motivation that you have inside. Now, sometimes we just get fucking lazy. We all have those days. Now, what are the main causes of laziness? Being unmotivated or distracted are two major causes of laziness. But more often than not, people just don't have good habits in place that will help them be productive. Having systems in place may help you stay motivated. A routine definitely will help. I'm going to give you an example of how to jumpstart your motivation. How many times, well, first of all, riddle me this shit. How come Hispanic women and black women, when they clean the house, why they play the music so fucking loud and they get in and then they start doing their shit? What's up, baby? I see Wendy on there. She does that shit too. Turn that music on and just get going. Why? Because they need something to help jumpstart that motivation. Once you get started, like, I'm not the type of person that I like to keep a clean house, but that's not my favorite thing to do because I got such a busy life that it has become second fiddle. Now, I don't have a dirty house, you know what I'm saying? I have people to come and do it. But at the end of the day, it's not something I want to just start doing, right? But once I get started, I'm good. You can't stop me once I get started. Sometimes you have to jumpstart. Now, being a better you takes work, and you have to be engaged in what you're doing. So how to overcome laziness? Make your goals manageable. Don't make your goals so fucking big. Okay, you can have big goals, but you also need to have manageable goals. Because if all of your goals are way up here out to the moon and shit, you're not hitting those goals right now. It's important that you're hitting goals constantly because that builds positive momentum. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta have some fucking victories to celebrate. You can't just sit there and make your goal, I want to be a millionaire, and that's your only fucking goal, and you ain't got shit right now, you broke. And guess what? Shit, you might not ever get to that goal. I think unobtainable goals are unrealistic. Unrealistic goals really is just a dream. Stop dreaming. Make your goals, if you want to be $1 million, make it, I want to get 1,000. Then I want to get 5,000. One of my goals is I wanted $100,000 in the bank. They say your first 100,000 is your hardest to make. Once you can make 100,000, you can make $1 million. So that's one of my goals. I want $100,000 in the savings account. So, you got to make things that are obtainable to you. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. This is where a lot of us fuck up. We're perfectionists. People that are perfectionists tend to let themselves down instead of celebrating their victories. And that can hurt you because if you're constantly down or constantly, well, I got to do this better. I get it. And critiquing yourself is cool. But if you don't celebrate the victories, then when the fuck you going to feel good about anything that you're doing? So you got to make sure you do that. Use positive instead of negative self-talk. And we always talk about that. Populate positive energy on the population because they need it, and much negative people to the negative section. But if the fucking negative person is you and you talking to yourself negative, you fuck. You got to change that habit. All it is a habit. How many people you know complain about every fucking thing that goes on in their life? Everything. I don't give a fuck. The sun can come up, the clouds, it could be not a one fucking cloud in the sky. They got something to bitch about. Well, it's too breezy or it's too hot. But goddamn, how perfect do you want it to be? That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. If you're so negative about every fucking thing that's going on, it's going to be hard for you to be motivated about anything. It's just that simple. Because nothing turns you on. But again, that is a formed emotion, you know? That's a formed way of being because you have bad habits. So you have to change the bad habits. Create a plan of action. We talked about that. Now, there's a difference between goals and an action plan. Look at it this way. A goal is a destination. An action plan is the route getting there. That's your GPS. You understand? Because you can have a goal without an action plan and not know how the fuck you're going to get there. If you put an action plan in place, it's something that you can get engaged in, you're going to be inspired. You're going to be motivated. Again, guys, let's go all the way back. The root cause of why you're lazy, the root cause of why you procrastinate, the root cause of why you don't like confrontation or you're afraid of challenge is because of the habits that you have formed. So doing these little things and putting this shit in place is going to help you. Create a plan of action. Make your goals obtainable. Make small goals. You don't need no big fucking goal. That could be your long-term goal, but make a short-term goal. And then make family goals, business goals, love goals. It's okay, however many fucking goals you need, but give yourself structure, plan of action, and now guess what? Engage into that shit. And then you're not going to be sitting there on the fucking couch eating potato chips and shit. You got something to do with your life. And that's going to inspire you and motivate you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Now, that's a tricky one. Because a lot of times, and I believe in it. I believe that you ask for help. But a lot of times people don't want to be bothered with you. Because people, they ain't got their own life in check. But again, if you have the right people around you, ask for help. Ask for advice. I ask questions all fucking day. I don't care if it's people I met. I went to the mall. Me and my girl, we went to the mall. What was it, Saturday or Sunday, Wendy? I don't know which one. But one of these days, we went to the mall. And I was in one of my talking moods. Now, I have several different fucking personalities, but I was in my talking mood. At first, I didn't want to be there. There's too many fucking people. That's one of my moods. I don't like to be around a whole lot of people. I get anxiety and shit. But once we ducked off into this store, there wasn't a lot of people there. And I'll say the store, it's a manual. If you're ever in Florida Mall, check them out. They got 2 stores in the mall. So anyway, I'm talking to this guy, or talking to 2 girls, and they own, they're designers, I guess. They own their own shirt company or whatever. So I get to talking and asking questions and talking. And then I start buying some shit. And then the old dude from the back, the owner, comes out from the back. I said, shit, you know what? I see an opportunity right here. So I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask for help. I said, how do you make this shirt? Who puts the print on this shirt? Because I've been looking for fabric that I can get print on. And I got to talking to the guy, man. He's going to give me his contact from where he, I have the people that makes the shit for him. But it's just because I asked the fucking question. I could have went in there and just bought the fucking shirt and left. But because I was engaging with these folks, they wanted to help me. Plus, I spent about $400 in the store, so that shit didn't help either. Or that shit helped a little bit. Now, that was just for me. At $400, I really didn't need the shirts, but I spent the $400 for the information. But again, it's about asking questions and talking to people. You got to do that. And recognize your accomplishments. That's what we talked about. If your goals are way the fuck out there, you're not going to celebrate any victories because you're not going to have any. So it's important that you set yourself up for a bunch of little wins and recognize your accomplishments on the way. It's okay. You might be in a t-shirt business and you might have sold 5 t-shirts. I know it's not a whole lot of money, but celebrate that shit. It's a fucking win. We always dwell on the negative shit in our life. We never dwell on the positives. You can find so many positives that you have going on in your life where those negatives won't even fucking matter anymore. But all of that goes into making you feel unmotivated or making you an unmotivated person. Remember that. And avoid distractions. It's hard to do, but sometimes you have to be selfish and tell a motherfucker fuck you and avoid the distraction and keep focused on what you gotta do. Lack of motivation can crush you, literally cripple you from taking action. If you're sick of suffering from lack of motivation, you're in luck because you're about to learn 8 major ways why you're short on the motivational energy you need to successfully accomplish your goals. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. And I got a video tonight too that's gonna be real good. You don't know what you want. Think about what it is that you want and figure that shit out. You're not in control of your functions. That's because you feel too committed to other people's shit. Fuck them. What about your shit? What about your life? You gotta make yourself the most important person in your fucking life, unless you got little kids and shit, and then they become the most important. But again, if you're not your best you can't do shit for those kids. So you gotta make yourself important. You've made lack of motivation part of who the fuck you are. Now, how many people can honestly fucking say that? I know you ain't gonna comment to shit, but think about it. You've had lack of motivation so fucking long, that's just who you are now. Can you change that? Of course you can. Of course you can change it. And again, they say you're not aiming high enough. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having long-term goals. I believe in that, but I also believe in the short-term goals. You are prone to procrastination. Now listen, I'm not sitting over here telling y'all I'm holier than thou because people watching know me. I procrastinate on shit, but you know what I procrastinate on shit for? I'm stubborn. I either procrastinate on shit that I don't like or don't want to do really, or I procrastinate shit because I done got fucking stubborn. I'm gonna tell you a short story. I gotta get a blood test. Yeah, nah, I ain't sick of no shit. I'm old and shit, and I gotta do a T count. So I gotta get a blood test. 2 months ago, I paid for this fucking blood test to go to one of these little places to go get the blood drawn. Now, I had to set an appointment. So I said, well, shit, the place is right across the street from my job. Let me go on across the street and see if they can go ahead and do the blood test. So I walk in there. I forget about COVID. These motherfuckers in there coughing and sick and shit. And so I'm like, I'm waiting in line. And there's 2 little old ladies up there. And I said, and I showed her my paper. I said, I need to, get a blood test. And she didn't even say shit to me. She just reached back, grabbed the fucking paper, and put it on here. You got to call them and set an appointment. I said, well, fuck, I'm right here. I can't just get a blood test because I remember you used to do that. Nope, you got to call the people. You got to do the email. And so I got pissed off. Now, once I get pissed off about something, I left. I didn't cause no problem. She's an old lady and shit. But I refused to do it, even though I done paid $250 fucking dollars for this blood test. So somebody set the appointment for me, and now I got an appointment on Wednesday. But I do procrastinate as well. I'm not holier than thou. Here's another one. You're not being specific enough to spur motivation. Again, action plan. Action plan is specific. You're seeking motivation where you should be seeking habits. Okay, so you have a problem with being unmotivated. We talked about that. The root cause is your habits. Change your habits. That's the fucking moral of the story. Change your habits. When you wake up in the morning, and here's a suggestion. They actually say it in the video. Wake up at the same time every morning. I don't give a fuck what time it is. Wake up at the same time. Add some structure to your life. Add some structure. If you got to be at work at 9, don't wake up at 8 trying to fucking rush and get there. Wake up at 6:30. Get up. Do some yoga or some shit. Fix yourself some breakfast. But wake up every morning at the same damn time. And make yourself do it. Once you do that, about a week or 2, you're going to be up. It's going to be a habit, right? Now you're on top of your day. See, those people that wake up right before you got to be at work, you scrambling all fucking day. Always scrambling. Why? Because you woke up and you in a rush. You ain't on top of your shit. I tell people that all the time. Wake up, take some time, do some meditation. I don't care if you're just laying in your bed but just looking at the ceiling. Take some deep breaths, plan out your day in your head. And then when you get up, you take your shower, you eat your breakfast, you do all that shit, and you have your day at your pace. That's very important. At the end of the day, we're all different, and what works for me may not work for you. However, if your goals, dreams, and ambitions require you to change your lifestyle and habits, then you have to make the adjustments in your life. If you are not happy with where the fuck you are in life, then you got to change that shit. And it's going to start by changing your habits. Discipline is the key word here, folks. Discipline. How can you become more disciplined in your day? Now, I got a video for you. It's a video, Rewire My Life, and the title is called The Cure to Laziness. So I want you guys to watch this shit, listen to this shit, learn some shit, because we changing fucking habits today. No more laziness. You're going to be motivated because you got to bring that out of you. Here we go. Check it out.
When that alarm clock goes off, there's at least 50% of the time where you just, that soft little pillow is just caressing your head and you want to stay there. And it takes discipline to go, nope, I'm going to get up out of this bed and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do.
We all average probably about 5 hours of sleep.
Work hard, sleep less.
Tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off and you start feeling all the excuses that come in, and that bed is cozy, I know what you're saying, I love my bed too. And you then go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get up.
That discipline that you have at that moment, you win that fight. That's a big victory. And then that pattern will carry out throughout the day, because once you're up, well, now that I'm up, I might as well go work out because I'm already up and I feel good that I got up out of bed and I won that battle. Let me go win another battle. I'm gonna go get it done. And that discipline carries on throughout the day. So now you take that and you expand that out over a week and a month, and you end up with more discipline. And it starts with that simple act of getting up and getting out of bed in the morning.
I work out twice before everyone wakes up. So it started off 4 o'clock in the morning where I'd start with my cardio, then I'd have breakfast, and then I would go to the gym, and then I'd go to work.
And I wake up at 4:30 in the morning because no one else is awake yet. So that gives me the opportunity to do things that I need to get done kind of selfishly for myself. And the big one in that category is working out. And it doesn't feel good at 4:30 when you get up, but by the time 7 o'clock rolls around and you've already worked out and you've already gotten some work done, and you've got some time to say goodbye to your kids before they go to school, it's infinitely better than sleeping in until 6:45 and you get out of bed and now you missed your kids going to school or whatever. You're not prepared for the day. It's awful. Wake up at the same time every day. And if you pick that time and you start waking up at the same time every day, that's very good for you. It doesn't have to be 4:30. It could be 6:30. It could be 7. I don't know what your personal schedule is. Find out a time, pick it, set it, stick to it.
Look, everyone has a problem with time, but the day has 24 hours and we sleep 6. Now, I know there's some out there that say, whoa, I need 8. Well, I say just sleep a little faster, because the bottom line is we have 6 hours of sleep, 24 hours are available, so you have 18 hours now available to your work, your family, your hobbies, and also to learn something new or to do something new, which could easily be that you want to learn a new language, to read a book every week, or you say, I'm gonna go and reshape my body. So you're gonna go and take this hour out of your schedule and say, I'm gonna train an hour every day. So this is, for most people, a huge challenge, but it is totally doable, I can tell them, because the kind of things that I did when I came to this country, I mean, I went to school, I was working in construction, I was working out my 5 hours a day. I was taking acting classes from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight. I was doing all of those things. I wanted to make sure that out of the 24 hours of the day, that I don't waste one single hour. Those hours were too precious. And so there I just want to tell people, don't give me this thing, I have a difficult time with the time and I don't have time for this and I don't have that. You have time, you make the time.
Sometimes, even if you're the most highly motivated person in the world, that grind starts to beat you down a little bit. And that's when you have to stop looking at the short-term thing, because that's not getting you to get it done. And you gotta look, okay, what is the long-term goal that I'm looking at? What am I really trying to get done in the long term? And you say, oh, you know what? I'm actually waking up today early so I can be ahead of the curve, so I can sell more of these widgets or whatever, so that I can buy a house. And you know what? Today matters. Today matters. This decision that I'm making right now is that first step. It's me taking one stroke, swimming in the right direction, heading towards the shore. And if I don't take this, I'm not making any progress.
I'd been struggling. We still had all the same problems. We still had a lien on the house, still facing bankruptcy, still fighting like crazy. I was still unemployed. The next morning, the alarm goes off, and I pretended NASA was there. It's the stupidest story. I literally went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I counted out loud, and then I stood up. And I'll never forget standing there, and for the first time in 3 months, I had beaten my habit of hitting the snooze button. I couldn't believe it, and I thought, wait a minute, counting backwards? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, the next morning I used it again, and it worked. The next morning I used it again, and it worked. The next morning I used it again, and it worked. And then I started to notice something really interesting. There were moments all day long, just like that 5-second moment in bed, where I knew, knowledge, what I should do. And if I didn't move within 5 seconds, my brain would step in and talk me out of it. Every human being has a 5-second window, might even be shorter for you. You have about a 5-second window in which you can move from idea to action before your brain kicks into full gear and sabotages any change in behavior. Because remember, your brain is wired to stop you from doing things that are uncomfortable or uncertain or scary. It's your job to learn how to move from those ideas that could change everything into acting on them in the smallest moment.
That's real shit. That's real shit. Listen, man, I hope you got something out of the show. You can decide today, to change. You can decide that you are tired of being lazy. You're tired of procrastinating. You're tired of being unmotivated. Change your habits, guys. Change your habits, and it starts with the time you wake up in the morning, and it starts with what you do in that first 30 minutes. Let's populate some positive energy on the population, because we need that shit more than ever, guys. And much negative people to the negative section. Why? Fuck them. We don't need them. And until next week, guys, love each other. Take care of yourself. Bless.
Y'all know that time, it's time to rise, it's time to grind. We cross the line, you know the time, it's time to shine. Check it, you must be out your mind. Even your third eye is blind sometime. You seen the sign, still cross the line. This life will throw curves and sliders. In times of trouble, we struggle, but the beast inside you must come out, or it's famine. System set up to damage you. Unless you work around the scandalous and mismanagement, I ran with it. I became more than I was supposed to, but wouldn't listen to the voices of oppressors who try to keep a brother down. Nah, I ain't having that. I'm after that cabbage black. I felt more than I succeeded at. Life lessons had a brother stressing. Nearly died at my adolescence, but I kept stepping and I kept repping black unity. Never forgot where I came from. I'm on some generation.